if you turn the crank to the right, that's the correct direction, okay?
And you already have put arrows on that, so
We will put an arrow on, but we decide, it's the way you set up the chain, the way we're using sprockets like this one. You're welcome to look inside it afterwards. The way we set up the sprockets, if you turn the crank to the right, the hook shall rotate to the left, which increases the twist in the twine. So, get started, I just usually start out with a slip knot. And you just string it.
So John, all bales you pull from the middle? Okay.
If they don't, I hope you didn't buy it.
I hope not too then.
3 strands should be enough, or 2. It depends, the more strands, I'm sorry, let's go to nomenclature. Technically, this is called yarn. The yarn is laid up into strands. So if you look at each of these strands, there are multiple yarns in it, okay? And this isn't real good rope, it's too soft. But anyway. All right, so pull back, you're going to pull back on this, try to keep this straight like that. It will be obvious, well, not obvious perhaps, but so how many did I do?
No, he's got to do it that way. If there's 2 or 3 kids working on it, he'll cut it into sections.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that'll be multiple
Okay.
pieces.
Teamwork.
Right. But they all help to make it. They each have different jobs in the process.
Yeah, this can involve three people operating it. This is going to end up 4. Oh well.
I would say if there's a slower time, and it's just one youth coming up or one person coming up, you can make it shorter, right?
Yeah.
There's also a parent helping out, or maybe a staff person.
Or make some that you can give away. It's nice. I don't want to wait. All right. So this is going to end up 4, and I'm going to end up back on the same hook I started with. After you've done this a couple of times,
That's it.
may I borrow the cutter?
Sure.
Oh, right here.
It's all bad news on there.
And then I finish it, just tie it off with a couple of half hitches. It doesn't take much. Once this thing starts to wind up, those knots won't come undone. All right, so at this point, you're ready to start winding. Okay, now, one of the keys here is you want the group of yarns to be pretty much the same tension. If you've got one that's loose, say sagging, you're going to get irregular rope, as we did 2 days ago when we demoed this. Okay, now you put in the spreader. Basically, one goes within each, and it starts back here. And now, if you would, sir, please crank
Which way?
to the right.
Okay.
The other way.
Other right?
The other right.
Okay.
Go ahead and get it moving.
You can go
So
fast.
Robert, would you run this, please? Now this machine is a 1-to-1 ratio. One crank, one turn of the crank turns the hooks just once. The ones that we're making are a 3-to-1 ratio. It would be more, except sprockets are expensive, and the bigger the ratio, the bigger the sprocket. So for simple machines. Whoop. So here's what's happening, and something you need to watch out for. This is Cecil. The fiber ends stick out, and given the opportunity, they will reach across and grab the adjacent strands as they're winding. So you want to keep an eye on that and keep them separated. Please continue.
Other way.
There you go. Same direction.
See, there's touch.
see, this is happening here. I didn't have this trouble the other night.
On different road?
That was it, yeah, yeah. Cecil is a fairly short fiber, which is why you have so many ends per foot. Manila comes from a much larger plant, and Cecil is like 3 to 5 to 6 feet in length fiber, whereas Manila is 15 to 20 in some of the bigger plants, so you don't get as much ends per
Is it
foot.
getting
Now,
hard?
once it gets tight, once it begins to
Once he
get
starts
tight,
leaning back farther,
Okay.
which,
Keep going.
yeah.
it will be less likely to reach across and grab. So this is about the right length. You can get 3 pieces out of this that you can give to the 3 participants. And like I say, with the new machines, it should go quicker. Okay. You'll know it's tight enough because it will begin to lay up behind the gork. And now, operation of the gork. The faster you move it forward, the softer the rope will be. If you just barely move it along, let the rope lay up behind it. See, it's beginning to push it forward now. You'll get a nice hard-laid rope. It's tough as almonds. But you don't want to retard it too much because then you get kinks in the rope. So there you go. So move forward with it. Now, I mean, it is magic. It'll almost make itself. It probably needs lubrication. The reason I'm sitting on this is because, as you can see, and this is what you want. The person holding the distant end needs to be leaning back into it. You need to put tension on it to make good rope.
Excellent, Tom. Sounds like Freddie Mercury.
Here, William, I'll just hold it.
There we go.
Depends on how it works out, but yeah. Well, the one person be able to, everything's supposed to be hands.
And you can see how much it shrinks up too. I mean, we started out here, this will probably shrink up to about 60% of its original length.
Stop.
Are we there?
We are
All right,
there.
now to finish
Man,
it.
Robert.
Somewhere here there's an end. We decided to use, I mean, since we're Boy Scouts, the ideal way to do this would be to tie a couple of, or tie a close hitch across the line and wax cord, but that takes forever. So, in the interest of expediency, what we do, find a spot here where the rope begins to look regular. See, there's some odd starts there at the beginning. And what we're going to do is just wrap the tape around enough to hold it. And let's do 3 of them. And then what we're going to do is cut it through the tape so that we don't have to wrap 2 of these at each. There is a method. That's why I wanted big tape. So do one here. You know, after you've made 2 or 3 of these, it will be obvious how to do it. Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. So now you can relax. And what I'm going to do is cut it here, just ahead of the gork. And then we can cut it through the tape here. And then through the tape here. And we'll just cut it just after the tape there. And there you are, 3 sections of tape, rope We'll do tape making next year. 3 sections of rope. Now this is what's called hard laid rope.
Boy, that is.
I mean, it's almost like wire. It would loosen up with use. Getting rope just at the right handness or hardness requires a lot more skill than you're gonna get in one session.